Greetings everyone, this is Natalia Mitreva. I'm the Executive Director of CCHI and I'm very excited to share with you the information about the new interface of our CHI oral performance exams. As many of you have known, we have taken a significant effort to upgrade the software and different other systems that comprise the CHI performance exam testing. And I want to show you the controls. So when you come to the testing appointment, you are comfortable and know what to expect. So first of all, I want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing, and that is the exams we administer for Arabic, Mandarin, and Spanish interpreters. The information in general about how to schedule and all the other stuff you can find on our website, cchicertification.org. From any page, click on Get Certified, or you can click on the menu and then on Certifications, and you'll find tons of materials. And I strongly advise you to read many links that we provide to be prepared. But today I just want to give you a brief overview about the structure and the interface of the exam. So it is a computer-based exam. You will have to come to the test center to take it. It is delivered in 2 languages, English and Spanish, Arabic, or Mandarin. And in the exam, there are 7 items that require you to record your responses and 1 multiple choice question. You have 1 hour to complete the actual exam, and I will go into detail what I mean by actual exam. The testing of this kind happens during specific testing windows that are listed on our scheduling webpage. The exam takes place in a private room, and therefore, testing seats are limited for each testing window, so be sure that you schedule early and have your specific date and time reserved for you. And the scores for this exam, because it is the exam that is scored by human raters, these scores are available about 6 to 8 weeks after the testing window is over. There's more information about how the examiners score and how we rate the exams in my other webinar that is about CHI exam that allows you to prepare for it. But today I'm not talking about that. So the components of the exam. There are 4 consecutive vignettes. Remember I said 7 items that you need to record? So out of those 7, 4 are dialogues. Obviously you'll be recording each utterance, not just the full dialogue as 1 recording, but we consider 1 dialogue, 1 response, and 1 vignette. Then there are 2 simultaneous vignettes, 1 from English and the other one into English. And then there are 3 paragraphs or passages in English that you will need to sight translate into your language. And the last component of the exam is 1 multiple choice question. So consecutive vignettes consist of different utterances, doctors and patients talking to each other. And 1 dialogue could be up to 24 utterances, and an utterance is obviously longer than a sentence. It could be 3 sentences, but the good thing is that each utterance is no longer than 35 words. So these are not long utterances. You can play each utterance twice, but you cannot pause it. You can make notes, but make sure that you understand that every time you play, you're using the time allocated to the exam, those 60 minutes. So you need to manage your time so that you don't run out of time and are able to complete the test. It's important to replay the utterances where you didn't understand something or you were not quick enough to take down a note. But if the utterance is short, like "thank you, doctor," there is no need to replay it. Also, I know at this point you're wondering how long does it really take to do the exam. I would say that on average, candidates who pass the exam take about 40 minutes. So there is plenty of time. You don't need to rush, but you need to make sure that you also don't waste your time unnecessarily. So The simultaneous vignettes, there are two, and they're no longer than 2 minutes. You will press one button, play, and it automatically will start the recording. And you need to really start saying something, interpreting simultaneously within the first 10 seconds, because you may not have enough time then to catch up and finish if you're waiting too long. So really, when you hear the first couple units of meaning that make sense to you, you should start interpreting into the other language. You're not allowed to replay these vignettes. You cannot pause. You cannot listen back. So it is your one-time shot to do it. But in general, it's a very brief item on the exam, so don't get too nervous about it. The site translation item consists of 3 short passages. We count it as one, and it is scored as one response. But it really is 3 little recordings of 3 different types of documents. One passage could be from a patient education document. The other one would be an institutional document, let's say like health history form. And one would be something quasi-legal where somebody is asked to sign something or informed of somebody's rights. So they're very short passages and no longer than 3 sentences, to be precise. And the last item on the exam is a multiple choice question where you have the English text and you need to select the correct translation of it into Spanish, Arabic, or Mandarin. And as with any multiple choice, you need to keep in mind that there's only one correct option. So in other words, 3 options definitely have some errors. And the correct option is the one that preserves lexical equivalency, including register, of that original text you see in English. And it closely follows the form, the grammar, the format of that English text, because it is a written product. It is not site translation. So you need to choose the option that is the best written translation. Now, what happens at the exam? First, you are admitted by a proctor, so you need to show your notice to schedule for the CHI exam. Make sure that you can print it out and bring it, or you can show it on your phone, but you're not able to take the phone inside, so think about that. The name on the notice to schedule needs to match your photo ID, and you need to present a valid, or let's put it this way, current photo ID, non-expired photo ID, which has to have your name spelled in Latin alphabet. It could be a passport, could be driver's license, state ID. There are many different valid IDs, so it's a normal, regular ID that you would use in the United States. You need to arrive early so you can park, you can find your testing room within the building. You're not allowed to take anything inside the testing room. No phones, no bags, no water, no medication. So if you need any special accommodation, make sure you inform us ahead of time. Our ADA accommodation policy requires you to inform us 45 days before the appointment date that you need to bring something special, and that special could be a Kleenex, or it could be, some medication and water. So many things are allowed that will maintain you in good health during the testing, but you need to inform us ahead of time. You will be given paper and pen for note-taking, and make sure at this moment you'll ask the proctor if you need extra, where you would get them. The proctor will be monitoring your exam, and that monitoring happens in different ways. In many sites we have video cameras, and other sites the proctor is behind a glass, and some sites they're in the same room and walk through. So different versions of monitoring that the security and integrity of the exam is preserved. So the first 15-20 minutes you're spending reading the instructions, testing the headset, and that time does not count towards the actual testing. That's what I mean about actual testing. The exam itself is 60 minutes after the moment you click the Start the Exam button, and I will show you where that button is. And if you don't finish the exam, don't worry, everything is saved automatically, and you will be rated on as much as you were able to complete. And as I said again, most of candidates who pass the exam, they take less than 60 minutes. But there are candidates who take 60 minutes, so don't worry about the time. Just be efficient and follow the instructions. So as far as the headset, there are two kinds that you'll see. Most of the tests, they have this kind of headset. Just wanted to show you the picture so you know it's over your ear. It's pretty much, canceling noise. You're in private room already, and it is reasonably comfortable to last on your head for an hour. And then another option could be this. If you get this model, make sure you look at this control and watch it carefully, because it has a weird thing. When this light is red, it does not mean recording, it means you are mute. So, and this button at the bottom is controlling your mute and mute, so don't mute yourself, because that would be user error, not test site error if you accidentally muted. We don't have too many sites with this mics, with this headset, so just be aware of it. Both both headsets provide excellent sound for the recording. So after the proctor IDs you, they would log you in, and you would see this screen where you'll need to make sure that it's your name on it and your exam, right? If at this point, if you came for a Mandarin exam and it shows Spanish, that would be the moment when you would inform the proctor. All this is outside your regular testing yet, so you confirm that you can click confirm, and the next moment is that you test your microphone and volume on the playback. You cannot start the exam before you do that. This continue button, it's grayed out until you complete what we ask you to do. So first you click on this record button to test your mic. It turns red, and as you need to start saying something at the normal volume at which you will be interpreting on the exam. And as you can see here, this squiggly line that shows that the microphone is working and it's recording something. Then after 5 seconds elapse, you see we dedicate 5 seconds to that. You'll need to click playback, because again, you cannot click continue until you listen to yourself. So when you click playback, you should be able to hear what you said very clearly. If for any reason you don't hear, that's the moment when you need to bring the proctor in the room, if they have left for any reason already, and tell them that you need to fix this. And all that is again done outside your testing time, so you don't need to worry if you need to spend some time, maybe adjust the microphone. Different things. Maybe the cord is loose, or maybe you just need to change your microphone or restart the computer because there was an update. We don't usually experience anything like that, but this is a good precaution that everything works. Then there is a important screen for us as a legal protection. It's a non-disclosure agreement, because our policy is that the content of the examination is the property of CCHI. You cannot disclose what your exam was about. If we become aware of that, and we did have some cases where we were investigating this, CCHI can take disciplinary measures up to not allowing you to certify in the future, or withdrawing your certification. So you click accept here, and then click continue, and you get to the introductory screen, which will explain to you what I'm talking about today. So that's why if you're listening to this video now, you pretty much can just glance through the screen very quickly. The important parts I want to point out. First of all, the technical words on the screen have slightly different meaning than normal meaning, as terms, right? So the word section means the section of your appointment. And so here the first label section is introduction, and you see here there is a timer which shows that how much time you have left for that part. It's timed about 15 minutes to read through this, but it's just one screen. However, on the side here, there are different other tips on what the audio controls look like, how to select an item. So if you've never taken the exam online, if you are nervous about that computer aspect of the testing, click through the screens. They're very short text there, and if you would take maybe 5-6 minutes to read it, you may take all 15 if you wish, but all that time is outside of your actual testing, because when you're ready, you will need to click this button. start the test. So if you click, let's say, on this page 5, and let's say it talks about how to select the multiple choice item, you will still have at the bottom this button, start the test. You can start it from the first page, or you can click through all the 12 pages of the tutorial and then click the start the test button. It doesn't really matter. And after that, you see the first screen telling you that your first part of the exam is consecutive interpreting, and just what I explained to you right now, and we'll continue explaining it. So to navigate throughout the test, you need to click next button. There is no back button on the screen. You won't be able to go back, even though you'll see it here on my screen right now. So clicking next takes you to the section of the actual exam. And here you'll need to pay attention to the timer, because after that you start your 60 minutes. And the progress, so first of all, the timer will be located here, and the section, the word section at this moment already means section as the full exam. Section time means that you have that many minutes left on the exam. You really need to make sure that you don't finish this section, because it's not like a section of consecutive simultaneous. No, it's all exam. So you only click this finish section when your progress shows 100%. In other words, you answered all questions. Don't worry, we won't let you skip the questions. I'll show you that the computer will tell you you didn't answer yet before you're able to progress. So in other words, you only click finish section after you are done with the written multiple choice question. Until that moment, if you click finish section accidentally, although it is hard because it's in the top right-hand corner, it's very hard to click, but if you do, there will be a pop-up window which says cancel, and I'll show that to you as well. So in the consecutive section, part of the exam, because it's all section 1. Section 1 is all this. You see here the timer shows 59:05. So the screen above the controls tells you about where you're at in the exam. So you have consecutive interpreting vignette 1 of 4. Then there is the scenario, and then you have utterance 1 of 14. So what that means that in this first dialogue you have 14 utterances, and this scenario that I blocked out for confidentiality purposes will give you the brief description of what you would hear in this dialogue. It will tell you what type of appointment it is and who the conversation speakers are, a doctor and a patient, or nurse and patient's mother, things like that. So, and then here are your controls for listening and recording your answer. So as far as the first step is to listen, it's a normal player. You just click this play button. You can listen to each utterance, as I already said, 2 times, and you may take notes. And then when you're ready, you would click the record button. When you click the record button, it turns red. Because you start talking, this squiggly line shows that your microphone is working properly, and the word recording shows up. So all these 3 features means that your microphone is working. And if something missing, if, for example, you click and the button is not red, or if you're talking and this line is flat, like in this previous screen, let me go back. You see, this is flat line. And there is no word recording. If this is like this, that means that something's wrong. And then you need to make sure that the proctor knows that, and they would then contact our tech support and they'll fix that problem. I don't think it'll happen for you, but just be aware that that's these are 3 signs that everything is working with the recording. Now, as far as recording the utterances, the utterances could be very short, like "Good morning, my name is Mr. Smith," right? And we allocate you enough to be able to record it. If by any chance you at some point got too nervous and clicked next without recording the answer, you will get this pop-up window which will say you must provide an answer. What they mean here, you need to click back and then you will be able to click record, because you can see that recording still shows you that you did 0 attempts out of 1 attempt possible. We also allocated for you different time. Let's say in this case it is 14 seconds, and you can deal with this 2 ways. My advice is don't pay attention to how many seconds we allocate. That's not important. There's plenty of time to record your answer if you are practicing interpreter who is ready to get certified, in other words, right? So, if let's say you are done before the time runs out, I advise you to click the save button. That acts like a stop button. In other words, that stops the recording and lets you move to the next utterance without waiting until this 14 seconds elapse. If, however, you need all 14 seconds to record, then, the recording stops automatically and your recording is saved automatically, so you don't need to worry. You won't lose anything if you interpret up to the end of this allocated time. But if, for example, you stopped, you interpreted everything and forgot to click save and click next, this is what will happen. You have another pop-up window which will say is like continue and save or cancel. Canceling means you return and you will continue interpreting and recording your response. But if you're already done, then you will click continue and save, and this will save your recording before your time allocated time elapses. So after you're done with 4 dialogues, you will get to the simultaneous part of the exam, and you will have the announcement that it is simultaneous, and there is only one button here, play button. So because in this case, as soon as you click that play button, you'll start hearing something, and like you see these little bars, they indicate that something is playing. Because again, if you see, it starts with a flat that nothing is playing, and then when you click, it starts playing. So as soon as you click that play button, the recorder will activate, and you will see that button saying record and the words saying recording. So you need to start interpreting pretty much right away, and again, you will have that fluctuation line showing that your microphone is working properly. The next section, sight translation. As I said, there are 3 texts. The text will be located in this area. So we start with the directions. The directions are pretty much read and then click record. But this will, this text here in English is something that you can read as much as long as you want, especially if you have a lot of time left. And then when you're ready, and in your head you prepared what you're going to say in Spanish, Arabic, or Mandarin, at that moment you click record and you'll start recording. And again, here is, you have only 1 attempt to record, as with everything, and the time allocated shows here. But if you're done before, click save to move to the next excerpt, the next, and the 3rd one. And the last question is written translation. It's announced here. It tells you, the directions tell you, please select the best translation for the following passage. And in this space, there is a text in English. And then here are the 4 options. Now, as you will notice on this page, is you have this pop-up saying this page requires scrolling, because there are 4 options and you can see on the screen only 2. Make sure that you use this gray bar, and you see here is this my cursor, and just grab it and drag it down to see all 4 options and select the option that is the best translation. And when you're done, you either click next or you click finish section to submit the exam. Because again, I just want to ensure that you understand that you really need to click that finish section button only when the progress is 100%. And after you click it, there is this pop-up window confirming that yes, I would like to finish this section, or no, I would like to return. If you would return, you can only return to that last question, which is multiple choice, and you can change your answer, for example, if you wish. So you can still go back, except for you won't be going back to any recordings. You cannot re-record anything or listen to any previous recordings, but you are able to go back and change the answer on your multiple choice question. And after that, there is this last section of the appointment, which is the survey. That section, we have only 4 questions really for you, and you have 5 minutes. It's optional. It asks about questions are about your experience. They're multiple choice with a space where you can write some comments for us. And when you're done, you can click Finish Test, and there is a confirmation that you need to make again. Yes, I'm sure I want to finish test, and that submits the exam for scoring. And after that, you will need to wait about 6 to 8 weeks to receive the official scores from CCHI. And if you usually we announce when the scores will be available, but I would just do your math from the date of your appointment, and you can always log into your own account at cchi.learningbuilder.com to see if the scores have arrived, because that's the account will always keep that email with the score report that we're sending to you. And that's it. If you have any questions about or comments about your testing experience or scheduling experience, please contact CCHI staff at info@cchicertification.org. You can also send the email to apply at, and it will be forwarded to the appropriate staff person, but our staff who deals with testing and scheduling, their department is at this email address, info@cchicertification.org. Well, thank you very much, and good luck with testing.